So I'm just going to go ahead and get all up in her business, and we're going to get some questions answered, good, bad, and ugly, so that you guys can really understand Lydia's journey and how that might look like in your own life, in your own journey. If you are on the fence, or you are inquiring, or you are just here to learn and, attend my funny comedy shows that nobody really acknowledges as comedy shows, okay? So, Lydia, tell us who you are, okay? Where you're from, what your background is, give us all the details, and what your life looked like before joining She Closed It First, the community, the academy, all of that. Give us all the goodies.
Okay. So I was born and raised in New York City. Both of my parents are Puerto Rican and very successful. My dad was military, then worked for the post office. My mom was a nurse, and held things down. So eventually my dad was like, yeah, I don't want my girls, because I had all sisters. I don't want my girls growing up in New York. Let me get them, out the streets, right? So we moved to Jersey as a teenager. Um, Going to high school, I was always what I would consider, like, I didn't have time for class. I wanted to work. So I started working when I was like 15 years old. And the first company that I worked for was called the We Must Care organization.
We must care.
And listen, that job made the biggest footprint on my life because I was in sales at 15 and I was selling like subscriptions to help needy children. And then one day I show up and nobody was there. I was like, what happened?
As a
Like,
15-year-old, like, wait a minute, hold on, this is not how this is supposed to work from my
I was
understanding.
like, what, did they move the location? Did I like get off at the wrong stop? What happened? So I go home and I tell my very well enlightened mom, I'm like, Mom, they're not there anymore. What happened? What's going to happen to the kids? She goes, oh, honey, it was probably a scam. I'm like, what?
That is a New Yorker mother if I've ever seen one, because if you know, Lydia, I don't know if you know this, but I was born in New York. Both of my parents are from New York. Probably a scam. What?
I thought to myself, I've been lying to these people, all these people that are buying like these magazine subscriptions. So I think it just made me realize that everybody is not telling the truth, right? So you grow up with this, not cynical, but you grow up with a like, let
Hmm.
me look into this one. You
You
know what I
double click
mean?
on everything. You're like, hold on,
Everything.
double click.
I'm like, that sounds amazing, but you
Hmm.
know what I mean? So believe it, that right there, like kind of chiseled the don't believe the surface,
Okay.
right? So then I go into like a work study program. I start working at a bank. Um, I made a really big mistake and I got a promotion. I can't, my numbers are very like squiggly and bubbly because I like to write cute. So the bank manager didn't know if it was a 9 or a 6. So he goes, Lydia, what do you think this is? I said, looks like a
Couldn't
9 to
tell
me.
you.
He said, well, it looked like a 6 to the teller. So what are we going to do about that? I said, oh, I apologize. I'll try to write, smoother. He says, you know what? Let me just put you in the new accounts. Everybody loves you. So there I was. I made a
Okay.
mistake, got a promotion. Okay. So I went from banking to then I started working for IBM, technology, high school. I'm in high school. I was like, I don't need to go to college. I'm making all this money I'm 18. I don't need this, right? So then I went into healthcare. So I just kept going and changing and like getting introduced to different things, because I just don't like boredom. It's really important for me to be someplace
You
where I'm
need
happy,
stimulation and learning and
absolutely
challenge.
happy and growth. And
Hmm.
then I met my ex-husband, who was my delivery man when I worked in human resources. He delivered the payroll.
Okay. So he was
That's
bringing
what
the
he did,
money.
So he was
We like that.
delivering the
10 out of
payroll.
10 delivery man. You bring me
I was
money?
just,
Yeah.
yeah, signing off. And one of the girls was like, he's cute. I'm like, yeah. And I went to my desk. So eventually we get married. He joins the military and I wind up in Japan. Okay. And I'm like,
Plot
okay,
twist.
it was a struggle because I had a really good career, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, am I going to leave a career for this man? Like, what am I doing? You know? But I thought, you know what? Travel the world, Lydia. And that's what we did. So we lived in Japan, Georgia, Florida, back to Jersey, a lot of different places. So that gave me a lot of exposure, right? So think about all the different jobs, you know, like technology, healthcare. Um, I worked for Pfizer. I worked for the Mayo Clinic for a really long time. So I've always like been attracted, or they've been attracted to me. I'm
Mhm.
recruited. I don't ever like apply for these jobs. You know, they come and look for me, you know, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, who told you I could be an analyst? Like what? You
I
know?
can, but who
Exactly.
told you that?
I mean, I will, you know, but and I did. So I feel like the growth came from being able to travel, deal with different
Mhm.
cultures, and then dealing with different industries makes you a lot more marketable because I'm not
Yep.
afraid of technology, for one thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, yeah. And I have two amazing, successful boys. I have four
Wait,
grandkids,
pause. Lydia, so your dad had all girls. How many girls?
all girls, four.
How many? Four. And then you have two boys. You're a boy mom.
And my sisters have all girls.
So
So
you
here
did
I
get the
come.
girls with the nieces on that
Hmm.
side. Got
Oh,
it. But
yeah, I
but
was
you were
the
the
niece because
responsible one for the boys.
exactly. So, but I didn't get, I have my first son till I was 30.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know, Lydia, on a side note, that gives me some hmm, I like that. I like
I
that.
didn't even know. I didn't know that I was 30. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't say, oh, I got to have a kid. I was like, oh, I got married. I guess I should probably have a baby. You know what I mean?
Right. Like we could probably
And
do that.
so he
Okay.
was born on my
Sounds good.
30th birthday. So we're like kindred
Oh,
souls.
you guys have
Okay.
the same birthday.
Absolutely.
Oh, that little shit stole your birthday, huh?
I was so upset. I was like, I
Why
don't
would
get to
you
do
do this to me? I had one day. I had one
that.
day.
But we're still
Okay, so
together,
it's been
though.
a journey for you, Lydia.
Yes,
Like,
quite a bit of a journey. My primary focus in life was to be a great mom, and I've succeeded in that. Both of my boys are very successful. Um, and to be honest, that's all a parent could want for themselves. You know what I mean? For their
that's like
kids
the
to be
winning, the I
successful,
did it.
absolutely, and happy when I tell you they are my biggest cheerleaders, they're the people that stand behind me and go, "Mom, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
are you okay
it's
with this
powerful.
kind of thing?" Exactly.
But that's
Yeah.
because they learned your standard. So it's their job because we're not always going to like things get blurred, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
they have viewed you as no, mom has this standard, mom operates this way, she demands this respect, she will not take this, she will take this, she'll compromise on that. So when they see you not, they're like, is mom okay? Hold on, remember who you are.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Remember
That's
who you
really
are.
it. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Hustle. My youngest one is always talking about, "Mommy, I get my hustle from you,"
Love
you
it.
know? And it's like, I don't like, why are you slowing down? What's happening? Like,
Like, are you
where are
okay?
you
They know to check in
at? You
with you
know?
because it's different.
Mhm.
So what,
Exactly.
tell me a little bit about, I'm always curious. This is always funny stories for me, but like, tell me a little bit about how you found this crazy lady and what that process looked like. Was it seamless? Was it a hesitation? Did the New Yorker come out and be like, "This is good, but..." And then when you came in, how did that shift? If it did.
Desmond, there was never, this is the deal. That's why it was important for me to start with that story, because when I saw your webinar, it was never a question. I didn't have to ask myself any questions at all. You know, I had one of your questions was like, how many programs have you? Girl, I counted over 10, over 10, you know, and
So
every
you
single
had
one of them,
invested in yourself before.
oh,
That wasn't
absolutely.
new to you.
No, I believe in that.
You valued it.
Totally. How are you going to get growth from where? You know what I mean? So I had been in different communities and I know what people are, I know the We Must Care organizations. They're all over. You know what I mean?
With a different white label.
And when you get in there, you're like, what? This
Hmm.
is not what I was expecting, you know? Or where's this part? And then you find out that that's not even part of it, you
Yeah.
know? So I was like, the biggest thing is that I have to really kind of push it back to your own program, because when it comes to discovery, it was like my biggest trigger for you joining this community was I could relate to you. So there's relatability. You know what I mean? And if you don't realize why people are attracted to you, right? So think of this. I'm in the middle of the night, because I'm a middle of the night scroller, you know? And I'm like, I see you, you've got curly hair, I have curly hair. Um, you speak very directly. I speak extremely direct, you know? And then you have on this green dress that I actually own. And I'm like,
Fashion
okay,
girlies.
right? I'm like, what are the chances? You know?
Mhm.
So I'm like, let me see what she's talking about, you know? And then when you start really describing what the program is offering, I was looking for a coaching certification
Wow.
when I found you, because I wanted to be able to speak in the corporate realm, and they needed me to have the specific certification. So
Hmm.
I was looking for it. But again, I was looking for trading time for money, right?
Yep.
And I was like, Lydia, do you really need the coaching certification right now? You know, aren't we trying to clock dollars? What are we doing?
Right.
Okay. So I put that to the side, and I don't know, here comes Jasmine. You pop up.
Yeah.
And I probably watched your webinar maybe 3 or 4 times, but then I
You
started looking for it.
did.
Oh, absolutely. I started
That is
looking for it.
interesting.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So, what made you go back and watch? Was it just making sure that this was the right fit for you? What was it?
It was going to work one day. You see, you give away a lot of information in your webinar,
Hmm.
okay? I went to work one day, and, I'm a top performer because it's natural for me, you
Hmm.
know? And I calculated how much money I would have made if I was a closer.
Mm,
I've been
that'll
closing high
smack you like
ticket,
a brick right here.
you hear me? Consistently. And I was like, Lydia, is your coaching going to do that? Nah. But you can use your coaching skills
Yep.
to do what Jasmine's describing,
Hmm.
right? And that was it. I just clicked on it, and it was all
You
she
did the
wrote.
math and you were like,
Absolutely.
wait a minute. Hmm, hold on. We need to immediately shift. Wow, that math is powerful. That math
Mhm.
is powerful when you do it out loud. And that's why I always tell people, and even like on the webinar, I'll say, listen, like, what's your highest bill? 2,300? Okay. 3,000, 4,000, whatever it is. 1,500? Start doing the math on what you could make on a lower ticket, just on a $5,000, on a $3,000 ticket.
Mhm.
It makes a lot
Mhm.
more sense.
It's
So
actually
you said it was what?
just, can you hear me? It was disheartening.
It was disheartening. But
Okay, hold on.
I feel like you immediately shifted from that, right? Like you realized that it felt like that, and then you made the change. You took the action and just went with
Mhm.
it. You were like, enough is enough. I'm not doing this, not based on that math, on that piece of
Mhm.
paper. I love that.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you posted in the community that, and we know that you are our night owl, all right? You posted that you were up at 1 a.m. listening to week 3 content, okay, because you just saw it drop. You already do sales every day. So, what is it about this content specifically that has you doing it on top of your 9 to 5, doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning? What is it about the content that you think keeps your attention?
The fact that I know how to do these things, but I don't have the right labels.
What do you
Okay.
mean by labels? Tell me more.
So, as a therapist, counselor, whatever, you kind of have to pick the modality that you're comfortable with, right?
Mhm.
Mine has always been motivational interviewing, always.
Okay.
Because you want to meet the person where they are
Yep.
to get them where they want to be, right?
Hmm.
And that's motivational interviewing. So I'm listening to, it was week 3, and that's how you're describing discovery. And
Yeah.
I'm like, but I do that.
Do this.
I
Hmm.
totally am Miss Discovery. I'm like Marco Polo. Okay. So I'm like, this is this is what I do. Oh my God. And that's honestly what keeps you going. For people that think that they already have these skills, it's one thing to think that you do, and it's another thing to confirm that you do.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Because if you don't put the right terminology to it, it's not going to work for you.
You're just winging it, right? And it might be you might be good at it. You very well probably are good at it. But I always tell people, okay, and exactly what you just said. When I tell closers, I don't care how long you have been in sales, in a 9 to 5 sales job, in a car sales job, in remote closing, whatever it is, right? Review not just your
Hmm.
bad quote unquote calls, your good ones, because the
Hmm.
only way to replicate something over and over that's solid and it works for you is to acknowledge it, identify it, name it, and replicate it. That's the only way. Otherwise, it's just like, I'm really good at this, right? Like, I know that I have like a flow of how I go about things, but I'm really good at this. But then you'll start realizing, like, I need to intentionally replicate this. So you
Hmm.
already had that skill, but then you're like, oh my God, there's a name to this, there's a process, there's an actual
Hmm.
technique. And now what you're already good at, you could just refine.
Oh, I'm even better than I was, which is, I didn't even think it was possible,
I love
to be
that.
honest. I didn't think it was possible. And now I pretty much double click on everything. I'm really an analogy person, like, you know what I'm saying? So I like relate the double clicking to it's good, but I want it bigger,
Mhm.
kind of thing. And so the discovery and digging deep and at the end of the day, I had because I work in education and we'll talk about that later, but I had a student that said she wanted to go and she didn't go.
Okay.
So we had enough of a connection that I was like, come in, let's talk. And what I realized is that in my discovery, I didn't dig deep enough.
Ooh,
He told me something and I took it for surface.
you grazed over it.
And
Yeah.
I was postpartum. I
Okay.
was depressed after I had my baby. But the one question I didn't ask her was how old was her baby?
Ooh.
I didn't ask her that.
Ooh, Lydia, I just got chills. Stop.
Okay. So after discovery, after week 3, I said, let me call her because I have a connection with my people.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm the follow-up queen. You don't want to do this, it's cool, but I'm gonna keep checking on you. Because
Right.
at one point you wanted to, you
Yeah.
know? And she came in, of course, tears, the whole nine. She told me that her child was 4 years old.
Hmm.
How are you depressed and stuck for 4 years?
That is debilitating. I cannot imagine. I don't have children. I deal with depression on its own, nice and independently, without having to care for a child. So I quite literally could not imagine 4 years. And that one question changed the entire way that this situation looked.
The whole thing. And I said, well, let's talk about that. Because the beauty of having the background that I have means that there's not really going to be a conversation that I can't handle.
Hmm.
I just need to know what we're dealing with.
Yep.
And you can't do that unless you are really good at discovery.
The truth. You can't
Mhm.
help someone until they tell you the truth. I'll give you an example, Lydia. I just took a call recently and I was sensing, my gut was just like sensing something else was going on. And this individual, she was whispering every time that she started talking about
Mm,
a certain topic.
okay.
And it usually had to do with home. And so if I didn't know, and it was like, it wasn't like a whisper, whisper. It was just like a very subtle change in her volume, in
So,
her tone, in her body language. And all that to say that the money, right? She wanted to do it. She wanted it. She saw the value. I ended up putting two, and two together by the end of the call. And she thanked me for it afterwards because I asked certain questions when I started trusting that something was off here. And the way
mhm,
that she was answering them fully confirmed. And we were making that eye contact that woman to woman make when we know something is going on. And I did
mhm.
not push it. And I actually shifted it completely. And we moved majority of that sales call to text because there was money abuse going on. There was emotional abuse going on. And if I just took, I don't really want to talk about that part right now at surface level, right? But still
Mhm,
respecting her
mhm,
boundaries.
mhm.
I started reading in between the lines and seeing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm pretty sure that the individual is in the other room, and that's why she keeps on changing up her. So, reading that and then you asking that one question changed everything. Now you can actually help. So, with her, I was like, okay, we're going to shift gears now. Now I know the truth of what is going on. So now
Mhm,
we're going to game plan a little bit differently, right?
mhm,
Let's
mhm.
customize this a bit
I'm
for
gonna
you.
help you
I'm going to
get out
help
of
you.
the
Let's
situation that
figure
you're
this out.
in.
Exactly. That is so
Mhm,
powerful, Lydia.
mhm. But
Wow.
that's in week 3. You could be in sales your whole life and not know that the sales that you have lost in the past or the people don't show up and cancel and to me that has a reflection on me
Hmm.
when somebody cancels or doesn't show up or something like that. That means me. That's me. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So that doesn't feel good. So
Yep.
I do everything I can to prevent that, and the only way you can prevent that is by digging deep and making sure that you are finding out the real reason why they're doing this.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, Lydia, beyond the tactical sales skills, okay, beyond the modules, beyond all of that, has this journey in this space, in this community, going through all of the things, changed how you see yourself or what you believe is possible for your own growth, no matter how successful you have been?
Yes. Immediately. So one of my light bulb moments, several years ago, my oldest son, who is has grown from VP of sales to VP of operations, a whole nine. This is, the Aquarian, Lydia's son,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Sitting next to me one day, and he goes, "Mom, tell me again, you don't make commission?" And I said, "No, baby. Like, why do you keep asking me that?" Like, I felt like he was insulting me, you know?
Okay.
Like, I'm helping people. Why does everything have to be about money, you know? And he looked at me and he's like, "Is that my mother? Who brainwashed her?" Okay. All right. I'm thinking helping people and money doesn't go together, right?
Hmm.
They don't go together because I signed up for this. I said that I was going to be a counselor that doesn't make any money. I said that I was going to do all these things. That's what I signed up for. So why would I be expecting it to be different?
Yep.
Okay. Then I meet this girl at a conference, lady at a conference, very classy. She was going to be doing a speech because she was a financial advisor. And she walked in. She had an immediate problem that I solved in 2 seconds.
Okay.
And she goes, "What? Where have you been all my life? Jesus." And we kept in touch. So eventually she became my client. And next thing you know, I'm traveling with her. We're going to speaking engagements at these big pharmaceutical companies. And she goes, "Lydia, this is you. Look around you. This is you." we're in these lounges that I had no idea that I've been walking past in the airport for
Secret
years.
Narnia doors in the airport. You're like, what is this?
I'm like, and I'm really one of those people that doesn't have like nothing phases me. But in my mind, I'm like, what the who?
What
You know?
secret society is this that I joined without
I'm
realizing
like,
it?
he's like, you want some wine? Let's get some wine. And I'm like, what?
I absolutely do
Okay,
want some wine. Thank
exactly.
you.
And she's like, this is you. And then we start talking about my portfolio. And I'm behind and I need to do this and I need to do that. And you start thinking to yourself, well, how am I going to do that? I'm too old to, be a OnlyFans.
Mm.
Like
Lydia, that is hilarious.
I'm
That is gold. I'm too old to be on OnlyFans.
like, what? I don't have cute feet or anything. Like what? Where am I
She's
going?
like, do I have to go fix my feet up? Because I don't want to do that. People think
I'm
I'm joking because some of the people really think like that is the option. And I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not going to knock your hustle, but I promise there's a better way.
listen, yes. And I'm like, I'll probably slip. I don't know. I never really could navigate. I'm not really coordinated. I'm tall, but I couldn't play basketball because I'm not all that coordinated. I'm like, girl, you'll break your neck. Take it easy. We got to figure out
Mhm.
another way, you know? And
Oh,
so when I see your program, I'm kind of like, all right, wait a minute. Let's just make some sense out of this, Lydia.
mhm,
If you are sharpening the skills that you already have, getting the right structure, you could be there.
mhm.
She was the first person I told. The
Really?
first,
What did she say?
she said, I have chills right now.
Mm.
Lydia, I have chills right now. I can't believe you're saying this because we're going over my portfolio. And I says, oh, there's some more. It's going to be coming very shortly. And she's like, what? What do you mean? Because, to a financial advisor, you're like, feeding fish to a shark. You're like, what? I'm going to
Yeah.
be getting more fish here soon, And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you when, and I'm not going to tell you how, but it's coming.
Wow.
And she's like,
Wow.
I knew it. I knew it, Lydia. I knew it. And honestly, there has to sometimes, it's not just one light bulb. Sometimes
Mhm.
there's more than one that has to solidify it in your mind that this is what you should be doing.
Some of the light bulbs are more of like, hmm. And then the next one goes off and you're like, wait a minute. Then the
Mm-hmm.
next one you're like, oh.
The high beam, and you're like, I'm
Okay, I
blinded.
can't hide now, right? What do you
Yes.
think are some of the pieces? Because, I really do, I work really hard to not have a sales course or a sales program or a sales community. Yes, we master these skills. Yes, we do all of these things that are tactical, right? But I feel like I have created this space for women, right? And it's not just me. I could not have this space without women like you that are actively showing up, that are actively being raw and honest and transparent. The ups, the downs, the wins, the losses, the getting laid off, the quitting your job, the starting full time, the any of that, right? What do you think was the biggest, let's say, two light bulb moments as far as like mindset, identity shifts outside of the tactical sales skills that you obviously immediately light bulbed on? But outside of that, we really do a lot of mindset shifts. We have guest experts come in. We have, because I don't just teach sales, I want to teach how we actually navigate as women, right? I'm not
Mhm,
a
mhm,
mother, but I'm a
mhm,
daughter and I have plenty of
mhm,
mothers around me. So there
mhm,
are so many mothers in our group. There are single, married, widowed, divorced, financial loss,
mhm,
health
mhm,
issues, all of those
mhm.
things. And so I want to focus on the mindset shift, the patterns, those type of things, because that's how you build a sustainable career. So what were your light bulb moments?
The most important thing is you start with that, which is important.
Mm,
You start week one is the mindset
yeah.
shift. You know what I mean? And honestly, the way I describe a lot, every single, session, every single week, every single second of it is you tell us what to do. So I feel like we're putting on the makeup
Mhm.
and then we're setting it with the practice. Because it's not enough to know it. It's you have to make sure that you're practicing it. Makeup looks great, but if you're not in the right environment, it's not going to
If
last
it
all day.
gets humid outside, that thing's just no setting spray, no practice. It's just
Mhm.
gonna melt off.
Exactly.
Oh, Lydia, I
Mhm.
like that.
And that's where I feel the growth comes in. When you stop fooling yourself, thinking you know it all. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, I got, no, you don't. You don't got it. You don't, because it's not solidified. It has to have a certain structure. You have to practice it, and you have to understand that you deserve this. If you don't believe that you deserve this, you will never make it.
Mhm.
You won't.
You might get it, but you can't keep it.
You
You
won't
can't keep
sustain
it.
it.
You won't be able to sustain it because you don't actually believe that you can have it. Oh,
Mhm.
I love it. So, give me one sentence that you would tell someone who is just as successful as you in sales, just as well-rounded, as badass as you, that might look at me and say, I don't think I need any more sales training. Give me your tagline for that. Anything.
So it's hard because at the end of the day, the people that I'm thinking of right now don't even know that they're in sales,
Ooh.
right? If you're a teacher, you're taking students from confusion to clarity. If you're a counselor, right, you're taking them from stuck to movement. If you are a person that sells homes,
Hmm.
right? You're
Yep.
taking people from discomfort to comfort. So almost every day is a sales transaction.
Yep.
You don't even know you're in sales.
Hmm.
I'm not talking about the people that have sales as a title,
Yep.
right? There's people that do it every day and they have no idea that they are in sales.
Wow. You just gave me an idea I'm going to talk to you about after we're done with this. You just put a light bulb in my head and we skipped the first two and went straight to the, oh,
I want to be the person that's talking to people that don't believe that they belong here.
wow.
Lydia, I've never done sales before. What are you talking about? You do it every day. Every day.
Yep.
If it wasn't for teachers, where would our kids be? Where would we be?
Do you know
You
how
know?
much discovery teachers do? The
Mm-hmm.
questions that they ask, the threads, ladies, if you're watching this, it's part of our discovery process, but the
Mm-hmm.
threads that they pull out of children who are also very hard to pull threads out of, if not, more than adults. The threads that,
Most
okay,
of
so
it is not verbal, it's observation. Because the teacher's watching a kid like in the back of the class that's like, do do do. And she's like, me?
pattern interrupts where they're like, you usually do this every single day and
Mm-hmm.
you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Let me sit down with you and color with you for a little bit and try to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what's going on here. That is
Mm-hmm.
so interesting, Lydia. I love that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The people
Okay.
that are in sales should know that your program has structure. And
Mm,
without the structure, you might be successful in sales for a little bit, but you won't be consistent. You
mm.
won't. You could have a big head because you make this commission and whatever, but you know what? In sales, you're only as good as your last month. And
Oof.
that's not
You
how
didn't hold
your,
my hand before you said that, Lydia.
you know,
You did not reach out for my hands when you said that.
no, it's true. Because you feel like you're like, oh yeah, I did, I'm number one. And then the next day they're like, okay, let's focus on what's next. And you're like, what
Yep.
are you talking
And you
about?
know what? That is why I preach from the top of the hill that I will always continue closing. I will always be on an offer, whether I'm taking 3 calls a week or 30 calls a week. I will always be on an offer because I do view it that way. I do see the changes in the market. I do see the changes with this trust recession, right? That has only gotten more relevant over the last 2 years, especially with a boom of courses and coaches and things like that out there, right? They need more than a feature list. They need to know how this is going to be different from the 50 other things that are out there, and maybe the 2 things that burned them. So for me, staying active as a closer, right? It allows me to, one, be able to teach you guys as the economy and the industry is shifting and changing, keep up to date and stay sharp on how people are connecting with each other, what questions are being asked more, right? If it's election time, I'll tell you that's a cheat code. During election time, during high ticket sales, it is not, that's something you need to prep for, because everyone is just in a full blown panic all the way around, and they need gentle energy. Those are things that I stay sharp on, right? And I learn every day. I still have a sales mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
never not going to have a mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you really advocate for, it doesn't matter if you've been in sales your whole life. This is different. This is different.
Way different. I up to both of my boys are in sales. My youngest son is an
Really?
entrepreneur.
How old are
You
they?
girl, 28 and 35.
28 and 35. Okay.
And the baby is just Mr. Closer Extraordinaire. And I remember when he was little, because my boys are 7 years apart. My oldest son did the whole sell me this pen.
Sell me this pen.
You know, he
Yep.
said, "Here, sell me this remote." And by the time he was done, he said, "My goodness, I don't know whether I should buy the remote or run, because you're going to kick my butt if I don't." Right?
Mhm.
And at that moment, my youngest son could have thought, "Oh, I just don't have it." But you know what? He has it. He just does it differently.
They have 2 different
You
styles.
know, two different styles. There's
Are
a
they like
thousand.
that in personality wise as
Yes,
well? Like in general, they're
yes,
very different.
yes. Absolutely.
Yep.
The baby is Mr. like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's on 10 every single moment of his life. And my oldest son is like, yes, that looks like that could be
Absolutely.
true. It's amazing. Tell me
That's,
more about
I resonate with that.
it. So they feed off each other, and you have to know there's different styles, and it's okay. But you have to have the structure in order for you to be successful. Because if I'm not successful, that means somebody doesn't get to go where they want to go.
Oof.
And I don't want to be part of that. I don't. I don't.
Wow. So you are also in the inner circle, okay? The Inner Circle, if you were watching this, the Inner Circle is our mentorship program. It's advanced training. It is guaranteed placement within my network. So essentially what happens is once Lydia is done with the actual curriculum, she's going to go through a whole phase process, go through graduation requirements. She's going to submit her mock calls. I'm going to review them personally. And then when she's ready, I am going to place her on an offer that makes sense for her based on her personality, her availability, what she likes, what she doesn't like, her style, all of those things. How much money she wants to make, that also makes a difference, right? So I place her directly with an offer owner, a business owner within my network that I've vetted, right? So I know they pay. I know they pay on time. I know they pay fair. I know that they have,
Mhm,
no fulfillment issues. They're
mhm,
ethical, right?
mhm, mhm.
And they're a trustworthy brand. So how do you feel about that process? Are you excited about it? Do you feel like this gives you the structure to be able to move forward when you are ready, and it almost gives you a guarantee of being able to start this in any capacity, whether it's a few hours a week or full time?
Oh, Jasmine, you have no idea how many hours I consume with your program. I go to work, I listen to the replays on the way to work. On my lunch, I consume content. When I come home, when I'm not hanging out with the boys or the grandbabies, I'm listening to Jasmine, because honestly, I'm not a half stepper. I'm not. I'm not an outside the circle kind of girl.
Yep.
I'm just not.
She
If
said, I'm
I'm
not
gonna
outside
do
the circle.
something,
I'm in the
no,
inner circle.
yeah.
I
Why?
am the inner circle.
Why? Why would I be on the outside looking in? Because then it gives you anxiety. You have no idea what's going on in there. You know what I mean? And with growth, there has to be proximity. If you're not in the proximity of people that are growing and killing it every day and focused, where are you going to get your energy from? You're not going to get it. You need to be in there with the people
Someone
that want what you
pouring
want.
into you and you pouring back in and pouring into you,
Mhm,
pouring back in. That's how it
mhm.
works in that space.
We have the same mindset.
Hmm.
We're
All
all
different
trying to.
backgrounds. Isn't that interesting? All different backgrounds, all different locations. I mean, you guys, we have people from the US, over 40 states. We have people in Canada, UK, Ireland, Dubai, South Africa, like in all. Anyone that you find in the inner circle is going through the process in their own way, but that proximity is there because no matter what it looks like, we all have the same goal.
Okay. Of course, I have a story for that one.
Go ahead.
The baby came home from a party when he was in high school, one of
Mhm.
those school dances. And I said, "What happened? You're home already?" He goes, "I got to change my pants." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, I was dropping it like it's hot and I tore my
This is the
pants."
baby, right?
My oldest son would not be dropping it like it's hot. Okay.
I didn't think so.
I'm like, "Well, Bobby, what happened?" He said, "Mom, this song came on and everybody was like, 'Go, Julian, go, Julian.'" And he was in the middle. That's what the inner circle is.
Oh,
That's
I
it.
like that.
Because
I
you're in the
like it.
middle. People are cheering you on. How could you not be successful?
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and I built it that way because I know, like, and you guys know that I am not like the academy versus the inner
Mhm.
circle. There is no versus. It's two different purposes, two different outcomes, right? It depends on what you want. There is no better, there is no less, valuable. It's not that. It's what do you want? Step into the space that you want, right? So for the academy, you will get everything that you are looking to master, right? We also go through on how you can do outreach to find your own clients. Me, I'm a shortcut girly. Okay,
Uh,
not in a cut the corners type of way, in the I will pay to not have to worry about that or think about that.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
my anxiety of having to figure that kind of stuff out and extra steps and extra work, it just doesn't go well with stuff like that. I would rather know, right? I don't like expensive mistakes. That's one thing that I'm big on. Expensive mistakes are not my jam. I'm just at a point in my life where that's not what I want to experience. So with the inner circle, it's like you guys don't have to go find an offer, right? Because you will find an offer, then get on that offer, realize that they pay late, realize that their contract is trash, realize that they might not have as many leads as they led you to believe, right? Versus, girlfriend, just come into the inner circle, let us dance around you in a circle, right? Like Julian, okay? And then you don't have to worry about any of that. One of our
No.
girls got placed the other day. It was literally, I sent her ready email, asked her for her phone number. She sent it to me, group message immediately that I sent with the business owner, and they were on a call within that day. And now she is studying the offer and getting put on the calendar. Seamless. She didn't have to do
And she's
anything.
ready. And we're all out
She's
there
ready.
waiting,
Yes.
waiting.
Yes.
I go
Wow.
in there and I search for certain people in the group. I'm
Oh,
like, let me see how she's doing. She
I
said
love
that she's an
that.
author. So I like look for her name and I'm like, let me see, is she reporting yet? Like I'll reach out to them and go, hey, are you going to give us some updates? Like what's going
What's
on?
going on over there? You're invested.
Check on each other because I want to know, like, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling? Anybody that joins this program that doesn't do the inner circle immediately, you will eventually. You
Hmm.
will.
Yeah.
Because I've joined a million programs that said they were going to give you this. And then next thing you know, you're turning into a programmer. You're
Hmm.
like, who told you I was a programmer? I can't build a funnel. What am I doing?
What am I doing here? How did I end
Oh
up here?
my God. You know? And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I know where I want to go, and
Hmm.
I don't have time for all the side roads and all the other kind of stuff. If you know where you want to go, you're going to join the inner circle and stop playing games with yourself. Stop. It's a waste of time.
I love it. I love it. Well, Lydia, we are I just want to call this out in the open. We are so lucky to have you in this space, and your wisdom and your skill and your ability to get people hyped up, which is probably where your son gets it from. Lydia will pop in and just be like, Happy Thursday, right? And then my notifications will bug out and I'll see it on Monday and I'll be like, Oops, Lydia, happy Monday. Right? Like she just comes in and checks in, like very invested in this space. And that is majority of the women that are here. So I just want to tell you that we are so lucky to have you.
Thank
And
you.
I am so excited to see where you take all of this. No matter where it goes, I feel like you have made your own individual imprint in this space and you're stuck with us. So,
I am blessed to be here. I at least once a week I say I'm so lucky to be here. It's a community that you feel welcomed, you know. I was laughing at you the other day. I do it often. And someone made a little remark and you came in there with your chancla. You're like, hey, we don't do that here.
I did.
We don't do that here.
I
You
did.
know, nothing gets out of control. Nothing gets by you. You're busy. I know you're busy, but you don't miss anything. You're in touch with the community. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about it is because you're not far removed from it. If we need you, at some point you're going to jump in and give us some, give us some updates, like what you're changing, what you're improving, and things that we should be expecting. And a lot of times in these programs, you don't see the people that did the webinar. You don't even see them. You see these recordings of them, like 2 years ago when their hair was a different color. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, where's this person that I thought I was going to be working with?
Hmm.
But that's not what we get with you. You show up all the time, and I appreciate that.
That makes me happy because I show up because I love it. Like truly. Like if at any point I don't feel that way, I'll shift things so that I start loving it again. Because being active doesn't feel like an obligation. Like I am so invested in everyone's growth and everyone's situation. And it doesn't matter how large this space grows. That will always be the case because that is me.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm so happy that you're here. Can I ask you one last question?
Sure, absolutely.
What's next for you?
Girl, as soon as I meet my graduation requirements, I will be retiring next year. So I have this whole year to make it happen. And when I retire, this is going to be what I'm doing primarily. That's it. That is it. I'm
And
going to be
where are you going
tripling
to be
income.
taking your calls from, Lydia?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? I don't know yet.
No, anywhere.
I have several locations. I'll visit New York more often. You know what I'm saying? I love the beach. I just like being out. And what you never realize when you're a 9 to 5er is that you don't have a lot of opportunity to
Mhm.
kind of, and in sales as well, because you
Yep.
can't be taken off a certain amount of time because how are you going to meet your goals, right? So everything has to be strategically planned.
Yep.
And with this, it doesn't. Pick your days. Pick your days.
Lydia, I closed so there was a point in time, the last year or so, I've been sitting down because I wanted to lock in and get certain things done and accomplish them. I did. There is a point in time for about 4 years straight that I would literally just go and work from Colombia for 3 weeks. Like I would literally just go and it would be like I was at home working, but I would be over there, right? Puerto Rico. I closed a deal in an alley behind the restaurant that I was eating lunch at in Puerto Rico. Made $750. Took my
Because
laptop
you
back there
knew.
and they gave me the Wi-Fi password. I was like,
Mhm.
give me the Wi-Fi password. They gave it to me. I sat back on the back stairs. Literally, the workers were coming in and out of the back door. And I was on my laptop like this. And I was like, hopefully nothing happens to me right now, but I'm about to make this money. And I put the contract in and I sent it and they made the payment. And I went right back to lunch and enjoyed my time. And that's what you
Because
can
when
do.
you have the right skills, you can do that. You
Yep.
can jump in and out because it's ingrained. The setting spray, It's
Setting
ingrained
spray,
in
it
you.
lives on me.
It's there. You're like, I could do this. I'll be right back.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's not a brag. It's not a flex. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, when you're good at it, it doesn't matter where you are because the magic's going to happen. You don't have
So
to be in
you are
Disney.
going to be retiring, Lydia. You are going to be working from
Oh,
home
girl.
wherever you want. I love that. I love that. And I'm going to meet you on a beach because the beach is my thing.
Oh, I live for
So,
the water. And I live in Arizona that is so dry,
hmm,
but it's where
yeah,
my babies are. So it's
I
okay.
love it. Well, Lydia, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
today and sharing your story and your journey. I can't wait to see where you are in 6 months, a year.